Okay, good morning, everybody. I think we can start the lesson. A nice short lesson today. Uh, Hopefully, everybody is now familiar with VLOOKUP. Today, we are doing HLOOKUP, which is basically VLOOKUP turned on its side. It works pretty much the same, but there are one or two tricks that I need to show you in terms of understanding HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP works with columns and it moves across the columns. HLOOKUP works with rows and moves down the rows searching for something. So you will see that I'm going to be doing exercise, I think it's 6.7. Let me just check.
7.3, sir.
7.3. 7.3. So once I've done 7.3, the rest you should be able to work on. Firstly, students, just a quick announcement. Please take note of the following. This Wednesday, the 29th, there is an institutional audit where they come and check on the courses, they speak to the lecturers, they speak to the students, and it's basically a quality control exercise. So we have to be on standby the whole day in case they would like to interview us. So there will be no class this Wednesday because we are on standby for the interviews the whole day, and it actually extends to Thursday as well. We are ahead of schedule by 1 week. If those of you that downloaded the schedule and have a look, that was posted on WhatsApp and it is on Blackboard as well, our schedule for semester 2. You will see we are actually ahead by 1 week, so please use this opportunity to catch up on your work. Anything that you're missing, I notice the students are still handing in if statements and so on. Try not to fall too far behind. I know you guys are busy and you have a heavy workload and you've got projects, and I saw some stuff with communication going on there where you're doing some group work. Try not to fall behind with this because we are moving into pivot tables next week. And pivot tables is a fairly complex concept to understand. So, but let's wait for next week for that, and I will do my best to make it simple for you. Okay, today let's take a look at the HLookUp. I am first going to open the question paper. I have downloaded these from Blackboard. Okay, and we are doing 7.3, and it is some students' results in a spreadsheet that we have to use HLookUp for. There are some instructions here, but you're going to need to watch what I am doing today in order to understand what the instructions are saying. They're asking us to use the results HLookUp spreadsheet and complete the following. Glenn's marks. Now we're going to get to that right now. It's a very short activity and it will be a very short video today, and I hope you will understand the HLookUp. Firstly, I would like to ask, are there any questions from VLOOKUP from last week? Now's your opportunity to ask, and I can show you at the end of the lesson. But please be aware there are two videos. There is the class lesson and there is another lesson on Blackboard that deals with VLOOKUP with its examples. I notice some has been submitted, so thank you for that. Okay, HLookUp, which stands for horizontal lookup. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. So I'm going to open the spreadsheet. which we have been given. Okay, and it's a very simple spreadsheet. We have a varsity student name, and we have Glenn, Mark, Simon, Tim, and Jack. And each of these students has obtained a score. Sorry, there's Andy, Doug, and Steve as well. Each of these students has obtained different scores. Now, in the yellow at the bottom here, I am going to use a horizontal lookup to fetch Glenn's marks from those rows. Please realize it's not a column, it is a set of rows that we are looking at. So let's start and have a look at HLook Up and what's it involved. So I click where I would like to have my HLook Up, and the question paper said return Glenn's marks for science, maths, English, and history. So let's go here to formulas. I'm going to insert function, and I'm going to type here HLook Up. Click on go. There is my HLook Up function, and I tell it OK. Now we have a couple of function arguments here. Once again, the lookup value, the table array, the row index number as opposed to the column index number with VLOOKUP, and the range lookup, which is the same, true or false, true for an approximate value, false for an exact value. We are safe using false during the first year. Very seldom will it be true, but be aware that if you're asked for an approximate value, you need to go and use a true under range lookup. Okay, the lookup value. Now let me first explain. This is our array or range, and it basically goes from B1 to I5. I've put it in the wrong place at the bottom here. And one thing I would like you to note, students, is that with this HLookUp, I am including the headings. So that is Andy, Doug, Steve, Glenn, Mark, Simon, Tim, and Jack are included in the array, because the first row, once again, is row number 1, which is the lookup criteria. It could be row number 2 or row number 3 or row number 4, depending on your array. We have a very simple one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, whose marks are we looking up? Well, they are Glenn. So under the lookup value, I am going to type here Glenn. Exactly as it is typed here. No caps, beware of the caps and case sensitivity. The table array, as I explained just now, B1 to I5. Now, if you have a look at the B1 to I5, last week we were using named ranges. I'm just going to press function on my laptop and F4. And you will notice there that it has automatically inserted the dollars for me, and it's $B, $1 to $I, $5. And you need to use your absolute cell referencing in these arrays for it to work. Now we have a question of row index number. Glenn is row number 1. His science marks are row number 2. His math marks are row number 3. English 4 and history 5. Now here's where a little bit of a trick comes in. So the first one I want is Glenn's science mark. And that is row number 1, row number 2. So row index number is number 2. And I'm going to place there false because it is an exact match. I don't have any red writing here or any red text here, so I know it should work, and I tell it okay. And there it has picked up Glenn's marks in science, and it is 65%. Now, please be careful with this next one, students. With VLOOKUP, we can use the full handle, but not with HLOOKUP. HLOOKUPs, you have to do one here, one here, one here, and another here. And why is that? Because if I attempt to use the full handle to copy across, what do I get? It's not working. Okay, it's remaining on column index number 2. It does not automatically increment the column index number. And that is, be careful of that. So unfortunately, in this case, I'm going to have to do Glenn's math mark, his English mark, and his history mark all separately. So let's do another HLOOKUP. Let me check I'm in the right place. Click where you want your answer, insert function, HLOOKUP.
Mr. Smuts, you clicked on stop sharing, sir.
No, I didn't. Did I?
I think you did by mistake, sir.
Where did it stop? Where did it stop?
You need to share your screen again.
Okay, we go.
Don't worry, guys. Mr. Smuts will sort it out now.
Okay, it should be visible again.
There we go, sir. There we go.
Okay, what is the last thing before the sharing stopped? Mr. Pretorius, what's the last thing I mentioned when the sharing stopped?
You were in Glenn Maths.
Oh, Glenn's math mark.
Okay, Glenn's math mark. Okay, no problem. So is everybody happy with his science mark?
Yep, yes. 65%, sir.
Okay, 65%. Then what I was saying is, and just to repeat that, if you try to use autofill, it doesn't work. It's just going to give me 65, 65, 65, 65. Why is it not copying over all the way? There we go. So that's a problem, which means I'm going to have to use individual HLOOKUPs for each one. Okay, so I click where Glenn's maths mark is, or his math mark, insert function, HLOOKUP. Okay, the lookup value once again is Glenn. Not exactly as it is above there. The table array, I have to specify once again all my students and their marks. I'm going to press F4. Whoops, I'm in the wrong place. Table array. second criteria. Okay, press your F4 and it automatically goes to $B, $1, $I, $5, always used with V and H lookup. The row index number in this case, 1, 2, his maths mark is column index number 3. So we're effectively doing the same one. We are just incrementing the row index number, not the column index number. And that is going to show me his maths mark. So please be aware, you can't use the full handle here. Let's do his English mark quickly. Insert function, VLOOKUP, HLookUp, sorry. Lookup value, once again, Glenn. Table array. I know this is labor intensive, but this is the way that HLookUp works. F4. Row index number, I need his English mark. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So row index number 4. And the range, once again, false for an exact match. There we go, 46, and it's picked it up as 46. And let's finally do his history mark, which I know from looking at it is the same thing, but column index number 5. Lookup value. Glenn, our table array. F4, immediately. I need his English mark, so that's column index number 1, 2, 3, 4. And my false.
Are we doing, isn't it supposed to be 5?
It's supposed to be 5
because it's a history mark.
1. I don't know why his history mark showed up here. Let me delete, sorry. Glenn's English mark is 46. Let's just check our formula. If you have a look at these, you will see it is the same HLOOKUP. The column row index number is 2 there, 3 there, 4 there. So the next one is going to be 5. Let's go look up his history mark. Insert function, HLOOKUP. Lookup value is Glenn. Table array. I know this is a lot of work, but that is the trick with HLOOKUP. F4, row index number 5, range lookup is false. You don't have to do it in caps. It does work if you type it in lowercase. And there we have 98. And there is that mark of 98. Let's make it a bit smaller and move across. And that's Glenn's history mark. And effectively, students, that is HLOOKUP, horizontal lookup. So we are working, instead of in columns as we do with VLOOKUP, I would not be working column by column. I know this looks like a column, but we are actually working in row number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just for the purposes of clarity, we can have a look at all of the statements there, and you will see the only thing that is changing, and you have to change this by hand, is the row index number, and it's 2 there for that mark, for science mark, 3 for his maths mark, 4 for his English mark, and 5 for his history mark. This doesn't have to be Glenn. It can be Mark, Simon, Tim, whoever. But you would need to read the instructions of what they are asking you to do. So there we go. There we have it. That is HLook Up. Any questions at this point, students? Anybody stuck? Okay. Yes?
No, sir, I just wanted to say, maybe you can lock that B1 to I1 and give it a name range of percentages or marks or something.
Okay,
Then,
okay, we can do that definitely.
Just that small part. Instead of all
I'm not going to do them all.
Yeah, just one example.
I'll just do one. So let's do what I showed you last week and name our range. In our naming box, I'm going to call it, as Mr. Pretorius said, percentage. It's not working there. Oh, percentage. And I press enter. Go and check the name actually stuck by highlighting your range. There it is, percentage. So, using the named range to get his science mark, this makes life a little bit easier. Insert function, HLook Up value, len, table array. I don't have to press F4 and type it in and highlight it. I just put in there percentage, row index number is 2, and false. No red here, so I know I don't have any problem. And there we go, 65. Then the next one, I'll do one more. Insert function, HLook Glenn. This is going to be row index number 3. Range lookup false. And it picks it up. If I want to change this and I want to make this Simon's English mark, let's change it just a little bit for the sake of clarity. And let's make this one Tim. Tim's history mark. And now we're playing around a little bit here, but it's the same thing. So what we would have to do is click where you want the answer, insert a function. So we got to think about this a little bit. There's my HLook. And this time we're looking up Simon. And I want his English mark. 1, 2, Careful of clicking on things. 1, 2, 3, 4. Row index number is 4. So first of all, our array. Row index number 4. Range lookup. '71 is Simon's English mark. Last one, Tim's history mark. So we've got to think around this a little bit. Insert function, HLook Up. Okay, this time we're looking for Tim. Percentage. Because that's what I called my array. And I want his history mark, and history is column index number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and are false. And there we go. There's Tim's history mark of 84. So that is, we are moving around here. Instead of Glenn, I also now changed it a little bit for the purposes of demonstration to include Simon and Tim. How useful is HLook Up?
Mr. Smart, sorry to cut.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you. Someone is talking, Ms. Hansit is talking about the hash value. We're also typing in percentage in the table array in the first example. We're just showing you two types of examples, student. One with an absolute reference and one with a name range. That is what I think you're asking me. Thank you, sir.
Just double check with the question. Is that correct? Is that what you're asking?
I'm just checking now, Hans. I see there's a hash sign. What hash sign, Hans?
It's not a hash sign, it's a dollar sign.
Oh, what's the dollar sign, Hans? Sorry. It's absolute referencing when you press your F4 key on your keyboard. The sign.
Let me just clarify. If I
Sorry,
highlight
sir.
my range, yes.
Sorry, sir. I think
Yes.
it's on at lookup. When you look up, there is you start with H side. So I don't know. You have to type it, press by lookup, and then it's automatically in. That's what my question is.
Okay.
Say that again. Just clarify for me.
I'm
Students
saying when you are hello.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, I'm saying that when you are doing your formulas,
Yes.
when you're doing formulas, when you reach whereby lookup is, you start by that H I'm thinking about. I don't know. Are you
Yes.
typing it or is by just pressing
Ah,
lookup
okay.
and
Okay.
automatically in?
I understand your question. No, what I'm doing is I went insert function. So I clicked, let's just delete Tim's history mark. Insert function. So let me start right from the beginning there. You normally on your home tab at the top, you go to formulas, insert function, and where it says here search for a function, I type there the one I am looking for, and that was HLook Up. I choose go, and there it finds it for me at the bottom, and from then I can say OK, and you will see there it has put the beginning of the statement in the cell, and the lookup value now is Tim. Table array, which I named. Column index number 5, 5 rows from the top. False. Here we go. 84, 84 for Tim. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I see now.
Okay, sure, no problem. Any other questions, students? Please, I just want to show you one very last thing before we end the lesson. I'm going to go to Blackboard. I've had a lot of questions here. Where is the work? I had a lot of questions last week. It is under content.
But Mr. Smart, you must check your Wellington, eh? If you opened it in your Wellington
I checked
Blackboard.
this morning. There is no date in there, so it should be
So it is
visible.
open. Mm,
It is open because there's no date in there.
okay.
Go to MS Practical, students. Microsoft Excel. Now, I think what is maybe confusing you is where's 7.1, where's 7.3, where's 6.1, where's 6.3. You need to be aware of what we are doing for that week by watching the lesson. Last week was if statements, so you would have clicked on if statements, and only then do you see your 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. This week, you need to be aware we are doing V and H lookups, and when you click on that, you will find your 7.1, 7.2, 7.3. I watched this video this morning. It is the same as class, and it explains HLook Up exactly the same as I have done in class. So you have two videos that you may watch, the class video and the activity. That these videos were made last year, but they are exactly the same thing. So if you're confused where the numbers are, you need to be aware of what we're doing for that week and go inside it. So again, what I'm referring to is you need to know that we're doing V and H. We did H last week, we're doing V this week. Next week is going to be pivot tables, which will be section 8. There we go. Lecture 8 pivot tables, 8.1 pivot tables. That we will be doing on Monday with you guys.
Sir, also show them where to submit activity submission tab or link.
On the left,
Mm.
activity submission, practicals only. Under theory tests, activity. So these are activities. You click on that. You go to Excel. We go to V and H for today. And 7.3. You browse your files. You go to where it is. Wherever you stored it, on your flash, on your desktop, wherever. You choose open. You submit. And you wait till you get a green bar here. I'm not a lecturer, so it's obviously not allowing me to upload. I'm not a student, but that is the process. Is that what you were asking, Mr. Pretorius?
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. So now they know where to download in content, and they know where to upload in activity submission.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Is there any question, guys?
Sir, can I ask, like, if you rename the cells, the range, is
Yes.
there a need to press F4?
You must always, once you've highlighted your range, you must always press F4.
When you rename it, I mean when you...
Oh, when you rename it, no, you don't need to press F4 because you've given it a name now. And the name is there to make it easier. So the F4 is only if you are highlighting like so. If you are doing the statement, if you have not named it, you must highlight that and press F4. If you have named it, you don't need to press F4. So at the moment it is named percentage. So that's what I was using in the second batch. But if you do your if statement and you wish to use the range, set function, I'm going to take out percentage now. There's no F4. I just typed percentage. I'm going to highlight my range. It's picked it up as percentage already. I would have to delete percentage. Let's make it a slightly smaller range. I don't have to use the same range. It depends on what I'm doing. So let's go from dough. You see there it says C1 to I5. Doesn't say percentage anymore. Now you have to press F4 to make it an absolute cell reference. Was that what you were asking?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Are you okay with that now?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Any other last questions, guys? Nice short lesson today, 40 minutes.
Mr.
We're
Smart, someone
giving you...
asked you what time are we writing Friday? Is there a class test date this Friday? If it's not this Friday, students, we'll write it next week Friday. Because this week is audit week.
Yeah, I think next week Friday is a good idea, Mr. Pretorius.
I think so too, sir.
So that will be the date. Let's have a look here. Class test on the 8th.
Yep.
So that is Friday the 8th. Will be a class test on however far we have got. So that will include the if statements, the V and H lookups, the nested if, all of that. And it will probably include as well a pivot table because we are going to finish off pivot tables during that week.
I think, yes, sir, the criteria for the class test, I think we will leave pivot out because we're doing it next week, but maybe in class test 5, we can add in a pivot, some table like that.
Okay. That's fair enough. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Any last questions in the chat? Any last questions for me? Otherwise, we may end this nice lesson today. I don't want to carry on for 2 hours. It's 42 minutes. It's easier to watch and easier to understand. Everybody good?
All good on my side, sir.
Okay. Is the chat good?
The chat is sorted, yeah. I think I'll make an announcement now on Blackboard, on WhatsApp as well about the class test next week. All right, sir.
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording now.